begin.
Perfect.
Are you in the frame? Can you come into
Come
here?
a little bit.
All
Is
right.
that looking? Yeah,
Hi. Hello, Austin. Thank you for doing this last moment.
of course, bro.
It's crazy. We met last night.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
leaving tomorrow, and today we're doing this. We just said bye to a bunch of our friends. Cool people. How was the food?
The food here has been incredible. I think the NS as a whole, we've really been able to put together a good spread. I can't remember his name exactly, but the guy who does like Don't Die.
Yeah, Brian Johnson.
Yeah, Brian Johnson's put together the meal plan here.
Right.
So I've already lost like 3 kilos in a month. So fingers crossed next month I lose another 3.
That's pretty
And
cool.
I'll be down to my fighting weight. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So, just to give you a warm introduction on this, Austin, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
I don't know what this show is going to be called.
Yeah.
I don't have an agenda. But what I do know is we're going to have a nice conversation.
100%.
And I just want to start off really by asking you, since we don't have an agenda here, we don't know what the show is about, how would you as an individual sell the vision of this show to someone?
How would I sell the vision of this show to somebody? I think it's all about the framing of the show, right? So I would put it as there's no agenda, it's natural conversations, it's real human beings connecting with one another. I would also use the authenticity of that. I think nowadays a lot of individuals aren't authentic, that they carry their questions immediately there and they've already sent them to the guests that they've got on. So I think that's the way that I would frame it, saying this is authentic, this is real people doing real things, and these are also individuals building in their career. They haven't made it yet, so it's like you get an early snippet to what they could become in 3 to 5 years, that you'll look back on this podcast, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this individual, they were there, it was super early days, and it was like giving the raw insights without them being media trained. So I think that's the sort of angle that I would take on a podcast like this, yeah.
I couldn't have said it any better, but that's why you get the money that you do, right? So, Austin, tell the audience, the future audience, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but hopefully
millions,
a lot,
man.
right?
We get millions.
Millions, yeah. hopefully, right? So that I can finally afford a private room at NS. Okay, so Austin, who you are and what do you do? And yeah, let's start there. Who are
Okay.
you?
That's a very deep and philosophical question to just start off. Who am I?
Yeah.
Well, obviously my name's Austin. I'm a 28-year-old entrepreneur. The majority of my experience has always been in sales. I grew up in Italy from the age of 7 till about 13. Went 3 years to university in Scotland to Heriot Watt, and then came back to the UK, started my official career, I would say, in recruitment. I didn't overly enjoy it at the time, but I think it gave me a lot of insights into life and how things sort of play out in the real world. And then going on from that, I then moved back to, well, to be fair, actually, I should add a bit more of a caveat. So I did the recruitment. I got fired from that job on the day of the Christmas party.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even get to the Christmas party. I got fired from that day because I was job hunting at other places.
Did
and
you
they
go for
found
the
out.
party?
No, I didn't. I got fired before the party,
Before
so
the
I wasn't
party
allowed
itself.
to even go to the party. And then the new company I joined then merged with the company that just fired me.
Okay.
So then in a span of 2 weeks, they joined my new company that I had like become a junior recruiter for. And then the new company I joined fired me. So I'm like, great, we're back to square one. So like I've got no job. And I was like, I think 19, 20 at this point. And then went into another recruitment firm. Then COVID hit. I missed out on like £10,000 worth of commission because they needed to keep it to keep the business running. Then I tried to set up my own business, completely failed, and then went to Spain, did like a huge road trip all around Spain from like the north all the way down to the south, and then moved to Italy again for 3 years, had an incredible time in Italy, you know, really honed my skills as a salesman, and then decided to build my own thing, and now I'm here.
So let's get like to the very basics of it, right? What exactly does it mean to be a salesman? Because I feel the word is really tossed around too casually.
I think, what does it mean to be a salesman? I think the concept and the philosophy of a salesman has really changed over the years. So I think back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of individuals were like salesmen, like car salesmen, and really pushy and really aggressive, door to door. That also got like a really negative reputation around it. And the individuals that I found, and this was also early in my career as a recruiter, was very aggressive. I was making 500 calls a week. I was just like trying to push product, trying to push a job to these individuals. Recruitment is one of the most hated professions out there, in my opinion, especially in the UK, I should emphasize. In the UK, recruitment is not considered a glamorous job. It's considered very like the modern day car salesman, if you will. So the new philosophy of what it means to be a salesman is somebody who understands people, somebody who's comfortable in any situation, and somebody who understands when's the right time to sell and when's the right time to step back and just learn about the individual. I've always taken the concept that everybody's a customer or everybody's a client. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay.
So that's the way that I've sort of taken as an approach.
So one good point that you make is when you should stop. Like when you should stop trying to sell it to the other person when they're clearly out of it.
Yeah.
How do you figure that out before it's too late?
I think there is what I refer to, or what the industry would refer to as buying signals, right? If the prospect is asking the right questions, wanting to learn more about your product or service, that's when you can start pushing a little bit more to better understand their needs. I always start with the prospecting phase, actually taking the time to identify who you're trying to reach out to.
Right.
And then once you identify them, know that they have a need. If they don't have a need for it, just accept that. You can educate them on why your service or product is better than the one that they're currently using, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to just immediately transfer over to your product or service. So yeah, I think actually understanding the buying signals from the individual. And if somebody isn't interested, that's okay. Just keep them in your radar. Every few months, reach out to them, see if anything's changed. And then it also depends on if you've got a really high ticket sale product or service, or if you've got a low one. Low one, there's a lot more frequency in changing providers, whereas if you're a high ticket salesperson and you work with enterprise accounts, they don't really, they don't change over so often. It's more like trying to find the right
So
time.
it's more consistent with them, the enterprise level, right? Okay, interesting. So let's just say you're in a deal, right? You have to close a deal. You know, it's all going pretty well for you. Is there ever a time that you feel that, you know what, no, this is all going to blow up?
Yeah, yes, in short. I feel like that a little bit more often than not, right? So I personally think sales individuals or salespeople are very anxious by nature, both in the best and worst way possible. So when I'm trying to put a deal together, or I'm trying to put a contract together, and I'm trying to get them to sign on the dotted line, that's when you start thinking this could fumble, this could fall through. You start thinking about all the things that they're not committed to. So it's having confidence in your own process that you've covered off all the things that you need to do. And again, it's through experience, right? So your first call or your first close, if you will be very different to your 100th close. Like by the time you get to 100, you know what somebody who's committed actually looks like, and you've understood what the sales cycle looks like for your product or service. So yeah, I've had, to be honest, I was going to do a sort of a video on this actually.
Really?
I've put it together, but I haven't released it yet because I feel a little bit nervous. But I lost a client like 2 weeks ago, or a potential client, and as it happened, I turned on my camera. I'm like, right, I need to let the real people know that this is what it also looks like. And it was a $10,000 worth of work for my company, and yeah, it was just a case of things changed, you know. So I did all the steps that I could do to get them to that dotted line.
Right.
Then the signature, sort of the time for them to actually sign the contract came around, and then they had a complete shift internally that somebody got fired and their plans changed. So it was like, sorry, we can't commit to this, reach out in a few months. So it's like.
So despite being as successful as you are in this business now, you've been here for a while, you've earned your stripes, you've done it, you lived the life. Despite that, when a sale like that or when a deal like that doesn't go through your way, does it still hurt a lot? Does it still like hurt your ego at this level? Or is it like just another day at the office?
No, 100%. That's why I sort of did the video, is because this is my company, right? So Adatha Group's a B2B marketing agency. And because it's mine, it hurts even more. That I need that money for the business. I need to keep it going. I need to maintain the profitability. Yeah. So I was able to turn this business into a profitable business within 2 months of launching. But every dollar counts. So it hurts a lot more now that it's mine. When I was working for other individuals as a salesman, it didn't hurt as much because I was like, it's not, it's for them. So if I lose it, there's always somebody else. The way that you make it sting a lot less is always having someone in the pipeline to talk to. So by the time I finish the video, and I'm going to post it at some point on Instagram or TikTok, I'd accepted the fact that I'd lost the client. I accepted the fact that now wasn't a good time, and I just had to keep going.
So, but I'm sure you also have a lot of regrets in this field of work. How do you deal with regrets? This is a topic which is really close to me, because I feel even in markets, even in finance, where a lot of money is involved on a regular basis, there are going to be times you're going to just essentially fuck up, right? and you're going to fuck up a lot as you're going ahead. And there's regret attached to it.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that emotion? Because it's deadly, it's poisonous. How do you deal with regret?
Regret is infectious and it's toxic, but it's a way of life, and it is what it is, right? I try to live by the motto that this too shall pass.
Right.
So whether it's positive or negative, the moment will pass. It's not so much that I suffer from a regret, because a regret is something that I could have done better. It's more the case of I always look at it like a learning opportunity. Like, I don't regret the fact that I've started a business. I don't regret the fact that I lost a client.
Sure.
It's annoying that I've lost a client, and it's detrimental that I've lost a client, but I also understood that it's not the end of the world, and it's not the be all and end all. So things are constantly changing in my industry, as I'm sure it is with yours and many other people out there who are watching. Industries are constantly evolving, especially in the age of AI. But knowing that it's not forever, the thing that's just happened to you, positive or negative, is really powerful, because you can actually let go of it a lot easier.
Right.
One of my old bosses, Leon Manco, turned around and said 5 minutes, 5 years. So when I was around 2021, I joined my third recruitment agency, and they were the ones that fired me with £10,000 on the deal. But they did give me some good advice, or he gave me some good advice, because he saw that I used to get affected by every single deal that fell through. He said 5 minutes, 5 years. If it doesn't affect you in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it.
Okay.
And I think that's really powerful.
Great principle.
Exactly right. So it's like, yeah, you can have regrets. If that thing isn't going to affect you in 5 years, you should not spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it.
And I think you can use it in a lot of different parts.
You can use it in everything. Yeah. So holding on to that principle has really helped me through a lot of the good and bad times, because, you know, when I was working in Italy, I was making like between 12 and 15,000 euros a month, and it was like incredible. But I knew that it wasn't going to last forever, so I just accepted that for what it was, and I took in every moment that I was like, this is fantastic. And to be fair, it did affect my 5-year scale, because obviously I was able to save loads of money, but from a negative standpoint, 5 years, 5 minutes.
So how was life like when you were in Italy? When you were working?
When I was when I was younger, it was interesting. So when I was working, I worked for a similar company, a B2B marketing agency. It was grueling, to be fair, right? So I moved to Italy I moved to Rome. I was looking for jobs. So I was in construction, I was in demolition, and I knew that growing up and being in England wasn't for me. Like, I didn't want to be in England anymore. It wasn't what I was doing. It was the country that I was living in. So I said, no matter what happens or what job I get, I'm going to move to Italy, or I'm going to move to Spain. So I started applying for all of the jobs I possibly could, and I found one, did the interview, they accepted me, moved out. It was peak COVID as well, so I had to get like the vaccines and everything.
Yeah.
When I'd gotten there, I was earning 1,800 euros a month, which was just not enough to survive. But I said, I'm going to bite the bullet. I want to be here. I'm going to grind it out. And then they withheld my commissions for 6 months. That was also the deal, saying during probation, it's 6 months. So after 6 months, you get your commission. I was doing 14 to 16-hour days every single day, Monday through Friday.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. But it gave me so much an opportunity to learn about the industry, gave me so much an opportunity to hone my skills once again as a salesman. But living there, it was an incredible time, because I was earning so much money, but I wasn't spending it. I had no time to spend my money. So like, imagine getting a 10,000 euro paycheck, like, this is amazing, right? And then you're back to work. So it's like, you don't even have the time to spend it. But it was nice knowing that I was achieving something that I always knew that I could. But then, like, I'd go home at 11 o'clock in the evening, I'd fall asleep, I'd order McDonald's, I put on 10 kilos or 12 kilos in 3 years. I got really unhealthy. But I don't regret any minute of it, simply because I learned so much and I was able to earn good money, and that's what springboarded me really into learning more.
So how valuable do you think it is for a person to move out of the place they're super comfortable with? Like, you didn't want to work in England, right? So you decided to go to like Italy. Do you think life would have been different for you if you hadn't made the decision to take on the risk of being in a complete different place for less money at the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a real mental challenge. Like, I remember, I don't think I've ever said this before, at least not to anyone.
Publicly.
I've never said it publicly. So when I was working in construction, I drove a Mini Cooper S. It was my first car that I'd bought. I was buzzing about this Mini Cooper S. It was during COVID. I was working in construction. I was in demolition, and I was a labourer, really, bringing down a school. and I'd drive home, and then I'd get home and I didn't want to go into the house, and I'd scream at the top of my lungs in the car to let out all of this anger, to let out all of this depression, all of this anxiety, just everything that I was sort of holding in because I hated
all
so
came
much.
out at once.
Exactly, right? So I was just like, right, I'm gonna have to let this out. So I used to scream in my car for like a good 15 minutes every single night.
Every night?
Yeah, like every single night coming back from work, because that was the only way that I could feel any sort of relief. Being in your comfort zone it's not a bad thing if you're okay to be there. But if you want more and you're in your comfort zone, that's where the danger comes. If you're happy in your comfort zone, then you don't feel a need to change it. That's okay. Too many people are saying like, go out of your comfort zone, do more, be more, especially on social media. They're constantly telling you like, take the risks. You don't have to. If you're happy in your current position, if you're happy with your current life, don't change it. Like, you should be happy with what you're doing. If you want more, then unfortunately you have to do something different. In order to get a different outcome, you have to do something different at the start. And I think it was Einstein that turned around and said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
For sure.
If you're in your comfort zone, you're just doing the same shit and you're just expecting a different result, you're going to go insane.
Right, no, that's really well said. But, okay, so tell me one thing. That was Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go after Italy?
So I haven't had a base, if that's what you want to call it, probably about 5 years, 6 years. I've been bouncing around a lot. So after Italy, I had to take like garden leave, which would be like a non-compete, I suppose, for 6 months.
Okay.
And so yeah, I did 6 months in and around Asia. So I spent like a month in Thailand doing and training in Muay Thai, trying to lose all of that weight that I put on.
How was that?
It was incredible. I went to a camp called War Arusha, just outside of mainland Bangkok.
Okay.
And or the main like core capital Bangkok, and it was incredible. I had the most amazing time, hardcore training, 10-kilometer running every single day. You do 2 training sessions Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday you got to rest. But I met some incredible individuals there. Then I went over to Cambodia, went around Vietnam, I went to Phong En. I stayed and slept in a cave that's like 45 million years old, and did a 2-day hike across the Vietnamese jungle. So I had an incredible time there. And then I came back to reality knowing that I needed to start building something and what that would look like. And I decided to do something that I was good at and also do something that I enjoyed, which was a big thing. Like I found my space, I found my calling, and it was in B2B marketing. So when the time was right, I said, right, we're gonna do something here and we're gonna launch.
You talk about your calling. Do you think it's something which is a privilege to know your calling? Because I feel some people spend their entire lives without ever knowing it.
I'm trying to think. There was an author that turned around and said that the individuals who find out their purpose in life at an early age have the most boring lives. You know, if you know that your purpose is to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, it's like your life is very boring from the start because you never get to experience or explore other things.
What else is out there?
Exactly, right? So I've been very blessed and fortunate to be able to experience so much of what life has to offer that it's, okay, maybe the word calling isn't the right, but I found something that I enjoy enough that I could do this for the rest of my life, and I'm like, this is something for me. And it's so fluid what I do, so it's like I'm always traveling, I'm always meeting new people, I'm always working on different projects and different tasks, and I'm building my team. So it's like there's so much variety in my day-to-day work anyway.
I like to say this one thing, that if you're doing any job or any sort of work, it has to be either of the two outcomes. Either it's fun for you or it pays you, right?
Yeah.
And if you manage to do both, there you are. You made it. So would you say you're there? Because you had fun, there's something you enjoy, you're good at it, and it pays you well.
Yeah, so I think it has its moments of being fun, right? So like, I'm sure you know this as well, right? So like, happiness is a passing moment. Having fun is a passing moment. It's not something that lasts forever. So I'd say that that's probably the same thing that I'm dealing with right now. Like, it's fun from time to time. Finding that balance can be quite difficult, but they always say like, you'll earn more if you find something that you enjoy. So I enjoy what I'm doing, and by default I end up earning more because I don't look at it like a job. I look at it like an opportunity. Jimmy Carr went on the podcast with Diary of a CEO. I can't remember his actual name who hosts it. Stephen Bartlett. Yeah, thank you. And he said it's all about gratitude. You know, like back 40 or 50 years ago, we couldn't even have a hot shower.
Oh,
like, we're not even grateful for those things anymore. That used to be such a privilege and something so unique that now when I go into work, it's like, how lucky am I that I get to do this? And one thing that you may have heard me say around the NS a little bit is another day in paradise, living someone else's dream. So it's like, there is somebody out there who sat there watching this, or is out there and just wishes that they could travel, have their own business and not have to worry so much about the bills. So yeah, I have to remind myself that I'm living someone else's dream, and that's very humbling and very rewarding, and I don't know, it just gives me a lot more drive to keep doing more and more.
But I've noticed is that you can practice this gratitude because you've lived the life, right? A lot of the people try to go down the self-help route and try to borrow gratitude which they might have not earned. I feel you cannot really read your way into being grateful about things.
It's interesting, right? You're getting all the personal stuff out of me now. Like, I've only said this to my counselor as well.
We'll just cut this out.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You can keep this in. I think it's what keeps it authentic for you guys. Okay.
There's no script here.
There's no script. We're literally just going off cuff.
It took us 20 minutes to figure out where to sit in this room. Just by the way, right? 20 minutes.
Literally, we were wondering about what light we're going to do. We're going to open up a little bit of a curtain.
We were going to start at 2.
We were going to start at 2. It's currently 4:30. We're doing great.
Yeah. Because some of our friends forgot to book a cab.
They're meant to leave, and Ashish and us, they were meant to get a cab, and then they only found out that you have to pre-book the cab the day before, so now they're calling around to see who can give them a lift to Singapore. So.
We learn something every day.
Yeah.
Maybe they're still around when we go back.
Yeah, watch out, we're going to go down for dinner, and they're going to be the ones serving the food. So...
It's such a weird place, but such a funny place at the same time. And it's
unique, man.
It's amazing.
No, it's amazing if you come here with no expectations. I think if you come here with a lot of expectations, it may fall short. It's also very young. NS is a very young concept in the fact that it's only been around since 2024. Right. We're in 2026 right now. There's so much that's been done that I'm also impressed by, like the events that they're setting up, the people that are here, the people that are running businesses, the community that they've created, and they've done all of that in 2 years. I wonder what the next 10 years would look like, or even the next 18 months.
Because people forget that this is a startup.
Yeah.
Right? This is a business.
And
to be where they are in just 2-3 years, it takes a lot of work.
No, it's crazy. And they've got a very good team together, I think, as well. The core team, the long-termers, obviously Balaji is the one heading it all up. But I think he's got a very clear vision on what he's trying to achieve. I think he communicates it really well, especially when we did like the first day when we arrived. He did a whole speech about it.
The whole orientation.
So I think he's got a really good mission on what he's trying to achieve, and he communicated that well to his team. So I think in the next 18 months, there's a lot of potential for this place. It'll be interesting to see, because there are things that not even Balaji can control, which is the actual culture within NS that evolves by itself. So it'll be interesting to see over the next 18 months, what is that culture going to look like?
Because I don't think you can acquire culture, right? You can't buy that thing, you can't borrow it. You can't just import people and expect there to be culture. It grows organically.
Oh, exactly. It's the people that make the culture, and it's the people that bring in their uniqueness to NS, and I think they said they've got like 120 countries here. So it's like a ridiculous amount of sort of multicultural.
I didn't even know there's so many countries.
Yeah, they did like a whole, again, you can maybe pop it up on like the first day that I got here, he did one slide with loads of pins in it, and I think there was one individual that was like in the middle of Russia, and he's
he raised his
hand, he's like, it's me, and he was like, right, fucking you.
Everyone's clapping for the guys. It's super funny.
I think there's a lot of opportunity within NS. Obviously, some things need to change as well, but NS isn't for everybody. It's for a very select type of individual. You got to do a bit of research about it, see if you like it, and see if you like the concept, and then come on out.
I think it's a spot to be, and I think it gives you a chance to be early at something. A lot of us don't get to be early at anything, right?
I think there's a lot of opportunity within NS, right? So Balaji's actually creating something that you can jump in early and experience it. So we'll see how it unfolds.
We're going to come back to NS because that's a hot topic here, because that's where we are, that's where we've been for a while. And Austen's going to be here for a few months more as well.
I'm here all the way until, I think it's August at this point now.
I'll come back too. I'm going to loop in a bunch of
people.
You're
going to take over, man. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to be here. We're going to do more of these. But coming back to what we were just talking about before this, when you were just going to open up and I kind of, spoiled the whole thing.
No, you're good.
And the viewers, the few potential viewers would be like, dude, why did
we're going to get 1,000. There's 1,000 watching right now. You're going to get the good stuff, okay? So you mentioned the word self-help, right? So I'm 28 now. I've gone out throughout my life I've identified the type of individual I am, and I'm still learning of who that individual is. I find myself to be an extremely adaptive person, partly because of the reason of bouncing around a lot of schools, bouncing around from different languages, different cultures, etc. But the word self-help, I've latched onto that for probably the better part of 10 years, constantly saying, I need to be better, I need to do better, I need to push myself more and more and more. So I started reading all the books and the podcasts and the research and just everything on how can I be a better human being. And then I found out, and this was only through counselling that I found this out, and it was a bit of a self-epiphany. All epiphanies are self. So I had a bit of an epiphany, I should say. That self-help isn't a final destination. You don't get to the point of saying, right, I feel like I'm better now. Everything's perfect where I want it to be. It's constantly evolving, and there's a lot of toxicity around self-help. Like read the books, get better, be a better human being, you should be waking up at 4 a.m. and going to bed at 3 and working off of 1 hour sleep and making $1 million by the time. It's like, no, enough now. And I've done multiple conversations about the unhealthiness around people saying it's so easy to make $10,000 a month. It's not. It's really fucking hard to make $10,000, pounds, yen, doesn't matter. It's really difficult to make that money. And I think self-help has influenced that mentality of like, oh, just be a better human being. Like you should wake up with your meditation. So when you ask me like getting gratitude is something that comes through time, I think gratitude is something that anybody can have at any given time. It's just what you feel to be grateful for.
A matter of perspective.
You know what I mean? So like when I was younger, because I was a lot more innocent and what I refer to as the innocence of life, I'd be grateful just to wake up in the morning. I'd be grateful just to have the opportunity to have, a hot meal or a really comfortable bed. It was like the little tiny things that a lot of people would take for granted, or back to what Jimmy Carr would say about the hot shower. It's like you can find gratitude in these little things. It sounds very wishy-washy, and you have to train your mind. Like I did a lot of gratitude and then I stopped, and then I'm trying to get back into it now. But it could always be a lot worse, and I have to tell myself that. It could be a lot worse, no matter what it is that somebody's going through. A, this too shall pass. B, it could definitely be a lot worse. Man.
If you talk to some of my friends back home, I kid you not, this is something which I always say to them all the time, that it's only going to get worse. So be happy while you're at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's, even though it sounds pessimistic on like the outside, but it's actually really optimistic.
It's quite freeing, right?
Yeah,
the position that you're in right now could be so much worse.
Right.
Like I've started a business, I'm very fortunate because I worked hard and I've got an amazing team around me as well, that, we became profitable after 2 months. But like it could be so much worse. I could be 18 months into a business and have no clients. So like I need to be grateful just to, keep my head above water. And I made a video about this the other day as well, is 1 year and 10 years. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year and they underestimate what they can do in 10. So if you plan for 10, work consistently, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, you actually hit your target. Whereas if you're like, oh, I'm going to do this in a year and I'm making $1 million, it's like, don't do that to yourself. It's really depressing when you're like, I'm set such a huge target.
And it looks unachievable, right? Like
and it's like,
it's too off-putting.
Then you break it down, right? So let's say you wanted to do a marathon or you wanted to earn $1 million in a year. And then you got to break it down, right? $1 million in a year is like 90,000 or a little bit less than 90. It's like, right, I need to earn that every single month. That's not easy to do. It's like if you can't even earn 1,000, and this is what I've said on multiple occasions, people rushing to get into entrepreneurship, I would avoid it like the plague if I were you.
Really?
Like I would avoid getting into entrepreneurship, and this is going to be really controversial for, I'm sure, a lot of people out there watching this. Don't try and be an entrepreneur. Like, don't do it to yourself. It's really toxic, or it can be really toxic at the start, and I'll tell you why. So many people jump into entrepreneurship and they have no experience in the real world of having a job. So all of a sudden they think because they've watched a few YouTube channels that they can build a business, they can take care of the finances, they can hire the right individuals, and it's so easy. I'll open up an e-commerce. No. You need to get experience before you actually build a business. Get experience in the field that you want to grow into. If you just think that you're going to jump into the water and you're going to be surrounded by individuals that have got 5, 10, 20, sometimes even 40 years worth of experience, and you're going to be able to compete with them, you're not. You're going to fall flat.
You're playing the wrong game. You're playing the wrong game.
100%. Like, be naive in learning what is out there. Be naive that you could be a business owner one day, but don't rush towards it. There's so much pressure and there's so much of a mental challenge. If you're not mentally strong to be like going out there and accepting the fact that this is going to be tough and it's going to be ugly, you're not ready for it.
There's another thing that I've noticed. A lot of people talk about trading in the same light as you do. When you ask them, even if someone asks me, should I get into this business? I tell them no. I think the simplest tell is, if you have to ask for permission to get started in being an entrepreneur or be in sales or be in anywhere else, maybe you're not cut out for it.
Yeah.
You can't seek permission. Like the feelings inside you, the energy inside you should be so like unmanageable,
It's overwhelm you.
that like
Yeah.
there's no time to seek permission.
No, exactly. It should, and I love that, right? Seeking the permission. You should feel overwhelmed by the need to do it. If you're not feeling overwhelmed, then you're not ready. It doesn't mean that one day you won't be overwhelmed by this feeling of needing to have a business, but then it all goes down to, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but I like to keep it real.
Go for it.
If you want to be a business owner, right? And let's say you want to be a business owner in whatever it is the field that you choose, right? Something that you're passionate about. Go and get a job in that field first. Get all of the experience you can. And the big tell is if you're ready or not to start your own business is if you're not even good in your day job, which is the fucking business that you want to run in the future.
Which has numbered hours, right?
Exactly, which has numbered hours. And if you're not even good at it, then you're not fucking ready to start something of your own. Because if you can't even do the task that they're setting you with all of the tools that they've given you, a salary, the support, the training, if you can't even do it successfully with all of those resources, how the fuck do you think you're going to be able to do it by yourself with nothing but like a computer and like $1,000 in your bank account? It's just not going to happen.
And a $200 cloud subscription.
Fucking Claude, man, honestly.
When I came here, I had no idea I would be subjected to so many people absolutely speaking about Claude as if it's the end-all be-all solution. Is it though? Like, I do not want to get into the AI side of things because it's too cliched, man. It makes my mind numb. I'm sure it's the same for you. I stopped performing after the first 3 days. When I came in, I was like, I had some sort of inferiority complex. I'm like, all of these people are building something, but I'm not doing anything. So I went around in NS Cafe, right? And even though you shouldn't be doing this, but I kind of peeped at what people were doing behind the laptops, their big fancy setups. So as I took a few rounds around the cafe, I realized behind most of the big and nice, flashy MacBook Pros, there's just WhatsApp there.
Yeah.
People are not doing much, and Claude is running, some prompts are happening, and it's just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, no, you gave we were talking about this before, this is the only thing that we should say about AI and Claude and ChatGPT. If you give Lewis Hamilton...
we just had that
fucking, yeah, if you give Lewis Hamilton like a Fiat Panda, he will fucking do incredible things with that car because it's Lewis Hamilton. If you give the average Joe a Formula One car, he might not even, or she might not even be able to turn it on.
For sure.
So like, just because you've got Claude doesn't now make you the next Elon Musk. It's like, and you're overusing Claude and everybody around you is building the same thing. It's like, oh my God, it only took me half hour and I built this website. It's like, the website fundamentally is shit. Like, I'm not saying that you're shit, I'm saying you've spent half an hour on it. That tells you the quality that it's going to be.
And maybe if you don't understand the fact, then maybe you are shit as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay because you can get better and you can learn and be naive and surround yourself by people that can teach you and all of these good things that we've been talking about. But don't look for the shortcuts. The shortcuts will appear by themselves when you've got the ability to identify opportunity. It is not the case of from day one, if I use Claude, I'm going to make money. Don't buy into the whole Instagram, TikTok, YouTube thing of like, oh, I started a Claude web page or whatever it might be and I'm making $5,000. No, you're not. You're not making $5,000. Somebody's paid you to put out this video because they want you to increase the subscriptions to Claude or another AI model. People need to stop latching onto AI and start understanding what it is that their value can actually bring to the world, and that's why I think sales is going to become the next. It's going to do a full 360. It's going to become the next biggest thing. That Claude AI is never going to be able to be a salesman, especially for things that need a human interaction.
So that's the transition from digital to analog in a way, where you have to go back to being a real salesman before you talk about AI and the singularity and how everyone's going to take over and there are going to be no jobs. I don't buy that. Like, there are going to be always jobs for people who are capable of doing them. You need people to do stuff.
Well, exactly, and jobs evolve as well. Like the jobs that are around in like 1900s aren't around today. It's because like the job market evolves with the time. It's just a case of all that's going to happen now is going to be a new evolution, and all that's going to happen, in my opinion, first and foremost, sales is going to be at the forefront of everything, right? An AI model is never going to be as good of a salesman. And if you want to actually learn about how to run a business, go into sales to start with, and then you'll learn so much. You'll learn about rejection, you learn about people, you learn about profit and loss, you learn all of the key fundamentals. Going into that, it's simply the case that AI can't replace jobs that will always be fundamental. As an example, AI is not going to replace a plumber. It is not going to replace an electrician. It's not going to replace a carpenter. And there's serious money in construction.
Yeah.
AI isn't going to be the one to build a building. Like, you still need humans. You still need the actual manual labor to be put into that. So no, people need to not feel so scared. Opportunities will be a bit slimmer in certain markets, but there's new opportunities that will pop up in others.
So how much has AI been helpful for your day-to-day life?
I use AI to write emails, man. That's it, bro. Like, that's how helpful it's been. That's it.
Well, we were talking about that in the cafe. Like, give a proper LLM model or something like a Claude Max subscription to a guy who's like a data scientist, right?
Yeah.
And let's see what he does with it.
You do something amazing.
Give it to us.
Fucking write me an email.
We're gonna write an email to each other, and it's gonna be the same thing over and over again.
That's exactly it, man. It's people get latched onto this, like, oh, I'll use AI and it's gonna help me do this. Like, it can help you improve few things. Like, I'm very data heavy. Like, my industry, my business is a very data heavy business, right?
Yeah.
So I'll use AI to say, okay, right, I need you to like help me improve this and clean it up for me. But you should use AI in your field, right? Like, if you're a salesperson, like, help it, like, use it to improve your sales. So I record all of my sales calls. I then feed it into Claude or AI, and it says, right, this is what's worked well on repeat. Like, let's say you've done 100 calls, 75 of those calls you said this, and it led to a positive outcome. Great, I know this will use that little piece, and I'll use that going forward on the others. But I'm not going to ask it to now build me a landing page on something that I've got no experience in.
At the end of the day, it's a tool, right? It can't make a dumb person smart.
That's it, man.
It's not gonna happen.
No,
like, it's
not.
a tool. It's a weapon, right? If you're a swordsman, you could have the best sword in the world, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to wield it, the fuck are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with it, man. It's
You're
just,
dying in the first 10 seconds of the battle, bro. Like, the battle was over before it ever started.
Yeah, and that's what I think, you know, a lot of software engineers are very concerned about their jobs. I don't think they need to. I think they just need to show that, give me the tools to, like, give it at the hands of the Formula One driver, and he'll do some amazing things with it.
Sure.
Give it to the hands of Susan, who pops down to the supermarket. It's not going to do anything for her, you know?
And I think there's no better time in history to be a good software engineer. I think it's the average ones or the ones which just did it for the sake of doing it who are going to suffer. But if you're good,
if you're good at anything, you stand out, right? Like, opportunity finds you if you're good at something. It might not find you immediately, but continue honing your skills. If you're a good salesman, like, people are going to come to you if you're a good salesman.
So we see a lot of tech pros and people who are like deep into coding and things like that. They don't have much of a public persona, usually, right? How could they use sales in their life to increase their value proposition as someone who's not a public-facing person?
I think if a technical person can get into sales, they are going to clean up. They will easily make $1 million, $2 million a year in commission. Like, easily. If you can explain the software, whether that's an AI software or the tools or anything, to somebody who isn't technically able, you're going to make so much money because you understand the technical side of it and you've got the ability to sell. Sales is something that there's a big debate, and I'll be curious in the comments if anyone wants to share their insights. Some people say that sales can't be taught. Other people say that sales can be taught. I think it's your personality choice. It's not introverts, it's not extroverts. I know loads of introverts that are much better salespeople than I am. I know loads of extroverts who are like super energetic, that are really good salespeople as well. It just comes down to your ability to identify trends. It's your ability to identify objections. It's your ability to manage expectations. That's what sales comes down to, and knowing when to push and when to hold back. Anybody can learn that. It's just, how willing are you to be really wrong at the start and then
that which requires a lot of humility, like you said.
Yeah, 100%. Sales is very humbling in the worst way possible. It'd be like, how can I use like a good analogy here? It'd be like me taking a guy, putting him in a room, right? or like in a nightclub, and he says you have to go and talk to you have to go and talk to every single girl here tonight, and you have to walk away with 3 of their numbers, or you have to walk away with 3 of their Instagrams or TikToks. All of a sudden that becomes a little bit daunting. Like, I've got an objective here. Let's say there's 100 girls in there, 97 of them might reject you. You need to be super comfortable with the fact that they're going to say like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, like I've got a boyfriend, don't come near me. 3 of them might turn around and say, fantastic. And out of those 3, only 1 of them you actually like, meaning, oh yeah, okay, let's go on a date. Then let's say 2 of them you actually go on a date with, right? And you're like, we don't have anything in common. Then it's 1 out of 100 that's turned into something. You need to be comfortable with those numbers. You need to be comfortable with that
Then
rejection.
again, it's a numbers game after the end of it, right? Like
everything's a numbers game, man. Everything, you know. The more you do of something, the better you'll be at it, and that's just the hard truth of it.
So, talk to me a bit about like the dark side of sales, like something which no one ever talks about. Like we talked about stress, we talked about anxiety, the pressure, the possibility of everything going to fucking zero, right?
Yeah.
But what is something which people who act as the sales influencers, what do they not tell the normal public who are actually trying to sell them a course? Which is something which you don't do.
I had a feeling you'd ask this, man.
You don't sell a course, right?
No, I'm really thankful. I don't want to sell a course.
Which is a profound thing in today's world. Because when you think of a salesman, if you talk to anyone and if they tell you they're a salesman, you automatically assume this guy is going to sell a course at the end of it. But you don't do it.
Yeah.
What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, I don't sell a course because what a fucking headache, man. Selling a course to somebody,
Is it though? Selling a good course is a headache, right?
Selling a good course is a headache, and it's also like, I'm not being funny, but people are selling courses way too early with no proof. Like, I'll give you a good example.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy gives all of his information away for free. Now he sells books and he makes profit. Or I don't even know if he makes profit off his books. But like, he's genius when it comes to that, man. He's like, I've learned all of these stuff. Here it is for free. Enjoy.
Okay.
It's only down to the individual if they're able to learn and execute on it.
Sure.
So you can have the best course in the world. If you're not able to execute on what you've learned, it doesn't fucking matter who's teaching you. The thing around courses, I'm sure you might have heard this expression. It's definitely one that hangs around in the UK. If you can't do, you teach. So if you're not actually that good of a salesperson, you tend to teach it. Now, I'm not saying that's true for everybody, by the way, and I think that's quite important to understand that some individuals are very good at what they've done. They've just chosen to then, their next step is they want to pass this knowledge on.
That's like when a famous athlete becomes a coach.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've got all of this proof, you crack on, that's fine. If somebody isn't able to demonstrate their path that they've had to success on whatever it is that they're trying to teach, I wouldn't subscribe to it simply because like I need the credibility. And again, I did a lecture, if that's what you want to call it, or a class, I don't know what you want to refer to it as. I immediately opened up with my credibility. It's like, this is the reason I'm here telling you guys about this. It's not because I'm trying to put myself in front of a camera or get myself attention. It's because I've done it, I know what's worked, here it is, here's your information. And afterwards I was like, if you want to learn more, come and find me, we can have a chit chat, no worries, no problem. I'm not trying to get people to buy something off of me.
Austen, by the way, hosts some of the best sessions here at NS. So if you're ever here, you must check him out. Like, those were easily those were easily some of the best sessions here. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the sessions, the presenters, they're good people for sure, but they do not, like, they haven't gotten their hands burnt. A man only learns when his hands get burnt, right?
Yeah.
So in order to teach someone something, you have to know something first. And you can't really just, go on Claude a night before and like, you know what, make me a presentation.
Yeah.
I have to present something in front of 20 people. It's going to give you something.
Yeah.
But you can feel it. You can feel the substance. I think one thing which AI cannot replicate is substance. It cannot replicate taste.
Yeah.
I think taste and substance is something which are one of the last differentiators we have as human beings. And that's how we like win the war against AI.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's AI will never be authentic, right? AI will never have experience.
Right.
So it's like when I gave that fucking event or whatever, or the lecture or whatever you want to call it, I said, right, I'm just going to give out my knowledge, and if people like it, great. They can enjoy it, they'll have a good time. If they find it useful, fantastic. But it's all about the authenticity behind it. All I did was simply carry over the things that I've learned and given it to new people. I think here at NS, there's an incredible amount of individuals that are building. There's not enough individuals trying to chase money.
Right.
And I think whoever's watching, individuals around NS, individuals around the world, building is fantastic and it's needed, but if you can't sell it, you're fucked.
It's worth nothing.
It's worth nothing. And I said, and I've held on to this ethos for a very long time, and I even said it on the very first lecture that I gave. Until you've sold something, you do not have a business, you have an idea. Until somebody's actually put money in your hand to say, I want what you're selling, you do not have a business, you've got simply an idea. Because if nobody's willing to pay you for it, it's a fucking hobby. And that's just the truth of it.
And a lot of the businesses actually are hobbies for a lot of people, right?
Especially here, you know, everyone's building. They're like, oh, I'm working with this in AI. I was like, great, has anyone bought it? No, they haven't. Great, well, enjoy your hobby. And it will turn into something one day. I'm sure it will. Or maybe it won't and you'll go into something new. But like, don't try and convince me that you're going to be the next Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk when you're in the building stage and you can't even get somebody to buy it from you.
So ideas are essentially worth nothing without the execution, without actually converting.
Ideas can be worth something, but by the time someone pays you for it, you know, it's like I could have an idea to do whatever I want, and again, if we're talking about from a business standpoint, right? That's when you actually have a company that you can build on. It's like, I know there's value in this. And we talked about rejection before. 0.1% is a number that I focus on more often than not. There's 8 billion people in the world. If you do the maths on that, if I could sell to 0.1% of them, I think that gives me like 80,000 or 800,000 or something like that. It gives me a huge number. If I had 80,000 clients, I would have so much, I'd be richer than Elon Musk. I'd have so much money, it'd be ridiculous. So just understand that it's about the margins, that you can get rejected by everybody, but there's somebody out there that will purchase it. So yeah, I think that's when the building comes in. Like, you can build it, but you need to know how to sell it.
There's something which I really liked in one of his sessions was that when you gave an entire rundown on how you get to a client and your entire process to making the call, and then how you close it and what happens after that. Could you give the audience like a quick rundown on how you are making or closing your deals at this level in your career, like at the large ticket sizes?
Yeah, of course. So this week, so we're on Saturday today, so on Thursday I closed a client for $30,000 US, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I got there with them, right? First and foremost, it comes down to prospecting. So the lecture that I did was a 3-part lecture. It was prospecting, objection handling, and demo, and then the last one was closing. Prospecting. You need to know categorically who is your ideal customer profile. You need to know what type of companies they work at, the size of the company, the geography of the company, their typical job title, the experience that they have within that company, the department they work for. You need to know everything about your ideal customer profile. I know my ICP in and out, no problem, right? Once I've done that, I then start identifying companies that I could work with. My offer is a very high ticket sales, right? So a high ticket item, it costs a decent amount, shall we say. I don't want to go throwing out some crazy numbers, but it costs a decent amount in order to be able to work with us. In order for me to do that, I know that enterprise companies are the ones that are going to have the budget. So I start identifying the companies. I now have my ideal customer profile. I match them together. I look for the ICP within the companies. I get the data from that, right? So I start using tools like Apollo, Wizard, Lusher. You can also use Clay's, quite good now as well for data scraping. You identify all those individuals. You get their email, you get their name. Sorry, you get their email, you get their phone number, you get their name, their LinkedIn, etc. Following on from that, you set up an entire cycle, right? Of like, okay, first touch is going to be email, second touch LinkedIn, third touch calling, and you're going to have a script for each and every one of them, and you're going to build that out across the board. Following on from that, you should be reaching out to around, I'd say, 1,500 people to 2,000 people, and you should at least get maybe like a 5% conversion rate on that, right? So if you reach out to 1,500 people, you should be having like 75 phone calls off of that. Great. Not necessarily the whole entire time. Some of them will be relevant, some of them will be irrelevant. Then you go into your objection handling. So you start then having a conversation with them about what it is that they're looking for. Have they used systems like yours before? And you need to qualify them on that call. Just because you've identified your ideal customer profile does not mean that they're qualified. Then you have to start doing all of the qualification calls. Do they have budget? Have they worked with similar agencies? Are they in the market for something like this? Are they the decision maker? Yada, 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 yada. Go through all of that stage. Then you start actually dealing with your offer, right? This is what makes us unique. This is how we can help you. This is what we've done for other clients. And don't be afraid, again, nowadays, to share what you've done. That's what's really important. It's authenticity and actually the experience and the execution. Once you've done that, you'll start learning what your sales cycle is. So ours is typically 60 days from first touch all the way to closing. And then you actually get through the closing stage and you start understanding their buying signals. So if they're asking you questions, if they want to know about the price, those are buying signals. And then you can start pushing them towards the actual closing of your offer.
Is it 60 days like really fast for the ticket sizes which you're doing?
I'd say it's uncommon. Yeah. I don't know if that's down to us having such a good offer, or if it's down to me being able to manage their expectations in a good way.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe it's a little bit of both. I know that I've spoken to some companies that have like a 3-year sales cycle, but their ticket size is like 4 million. So it's like, if it's going to take you 3 years to close 4 million, like, you sort of trade that off. For us, I think 60 days is pretty healthy. It can go into 90, sometimes it can go into less. Like, I think this week as well, I had an individual reach out to me saying, hey, we want to do something in Southeast Asia. Say, yeah, no worries, and they're already like ready to have the conversation next week on actually closing it. That's a 2-week sales cycle, but again, that's very uncommon.
I think a lot of the people, when they're getting started in sales, right, even if I see people around my age, your age, who are not experienced, they don't look at it from a lens of B2B. They usually go to B2C, like the first thing. Like, okay, I have this product, I'm going to make an Instagram account, I'm going to run a few ads, I'm going to sell it to 5 people, I'm going to create an entire charade around it, and then they're surprised the business didn't work out. Do you think people are not really paying attention to B2B as much?
I think people are used to what they're exposed to, right? So if they're exposed to B2C products, then they just think they need to get into B2C. B2C, depending on the market within that, right, can be very saturated. B2B is a lot more, it's a lot more grueling. You need to be a lot more educated. If you're going to sell a B2B product, you need to know your industry inside and out. If you're going down the B2C route, you can just blitz the fuck out of ads and then next you know, you'll get some purchases, especially. And again, I'm sure you individuals watching have gotten all into this as well, like the whole e-commerce, Shopee or whatever it is, Shopify. It's like, oh, I'm just going to get a product, I'm going to launch the fuck out of it and people are going to buy it for me.
I'm going to get a clone from Alibaba,
like,
and just
enough, man.
Put it on Amazon,
yeah,
make 20K a month on drop shipping.
It's ridiculous. It's just not the case, and that's not how life works. This is them selling you a dream. Some people may have done that, but they would have done that in the early days. Now it's way too saturated. So people are just exposed to B2C, so I think that's why they immediately go into it. You can get a good product and launch ads attached to it and actually make some money off of it. But it's having the analytical mind to understand your ads, understand your audience. And again, even within B2C, you are not targeting 8 billion people. You are targeting a very small percentage of those 8 billion who actually want your product. I'll give you an example. Immediately, you need to halve that, because is your product for men or is it for women? Then you need to start thinking of age group. Is it for pensioners? Is it for children? Then you start breaking it down even more. And all of a sudden you look at it and you're thinking, oh, I don't actually have that many. You start looking at the geography. Do these people in the US need it, or do they need it in India? Then all of a sudden everything fucking changes. So being analytical with your ads as well makes a difference. There's money in everything. You could be, and this is one thing that I learned from a very young age from my dad. I remember it. So I was cleaning the garden, right? So I was like having to like chop the, you know, this is exactly how it went. I remember it, right? So I used to get pocket money, right? So I used to get £5 a week, but I'd have to earn the £5. It's not just like, oh, here you go, here's £5. If I didn't work for the weekend, then I wouldn't get the £5. So I could do one of two things. I could either wash the cars, which is what I typically did during the winter months, or I could cut the grass. During the summer months, I chose to cut the grass. Anyway, we don't have a massive garden, but it's a bit of a fucking headache to do it when you're like 13 years old. I think, I don't want to do this on my Saturday, waking up at 6 in the morning, cutting the grass. But I did it anyway for the five measly pounds that he was going to pay me for 4 hours worth of work. Fucking cheapest labor in the world.
Reminds me of India.
Fucking cheapest labor ever, man. He must have been rubbing his hands together thinking, fucking perfect garden here, and it only cost me £5. So he gets all the equipment out and I start mowing the lawn. Fantastic. I've mowed the lawn and it took me about 30 to 45 minutes to mow the lawn, right? I'm like, great, Dad, I'm done. Like, I'd like to...
Set me free.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get back to the rest of my day. So, no, you're not done. I said, how the fuck am I not done? And he said, well, you've got all the trimming on the side yet. So he gives me a pair of shears. I've got to go around with all the fucking trimming. That takes me an hour and a half to do that. So I'm going all the way around, cutting. I said, Dad, I'm finally done. It's been 2 hours. Let me go inside. I want to go enjoy my weekend. No, we're not done, because now you have to take all the weeds off of the gravel in the driveway. And I look at him, I said, I'm never going to make any money doing anything like this. And he's trying to say, that's not true. There's a millionaire in everything. I was trying to say, like, again, I was like 13. So like 13, I'm paraphrasing it, but like, what the fuck do you mean there's a millionaire in everything? If you start boiling it down, every single industry has a millionaire. Gardeners have a millionaire. An individual who can make millions, even billions in some cases. And I'll give you a really good example of this. If you look at a cleaner, right, who cleans a hotel one room at a time, they might earn, for the sake of conversation, $10 an hour. If you take that exact same cleaner and get them to clean a private jet, they might earn $15,000 an hour. So it's not so much about, the task that you're doing, it's in the market that you're doing it, right? So it's the same as well with being a gardener. My garden, I only got £5 an hour. If I was doing Jeff Bezos' garden, he might have paid me $30,000 an hour if I do a really good job, and I get like the fucking best shears in the world that are made out of pure gold, and I'm cutting his grass with that. So
turn the hedges into a bald head, right?
Exactly, I can turn it into a whole entire sculpture. So I think there's that as well. It's like there's a millionaire in everything, but having the ability to be humble enough to want to learn first, and that's what I went back to all the way from the start. Learn your craft before you dive in head first, because it'll be really fucking painful when everything goes bad. And a lot of the youth out there, and this is one thing that I'm trying to promote a lot more on my socials, is that the youthful individuals, the 16, the 14, the 15-year-old boys and girls are like, I need to start a business because everyone's pushing that narrative. Stop. Like, just please stop. Don't
drop out of university.
Yeah. Don't even like drop out. Just don't drop out of life trying to chase something that you're not ready for.
Right.
I wouldn't, for example, say, right, let me take this 16-year-old who's never done a 100-meter sprint and put them into the Olympics and compete against Usain Bolt or whoever the new person is. Fucking build up to that.
It's funny how we still only talk about Usain Bolt because no one knows the new run as well.
No one knows anyone else. It's just Usain Bolt is the only important person. So yeah, it's the same concept. Like, learn your craft, get passionate about it, and the beauty is learn it by somebody else, and then you can immediately start. You get paid for the mistakes you make, which is incredible.
Which is the entire premise of having a job, right?
Yeah, you get paid for the mistakes that you make. That's what they're paying you for. You've made a mistake and you still get a paycheck at the end of the month. How fucking fantastic. You make a mistake in your own business, nobody gets paid. Not you, not your employees, not your client, no one gets paid. What the fuck are you going to do then?
Do you think a sales degree teaches anything?
That's a good question. Do I think a sales degree teaches anything? I think the way that firstly, I've never seen a degree that just says sales on it. Never seen that. I've only ever seen
Okay, let's just say a marketing degree, right?
Yeah. I think everything has the opportunity to be insightful, and you can learn from it. But if you want to learn something, just do it, right? So like, start playing around.
That's a nice answer. You have to give the real
answer. Okay, so the short answer is yes. Out of 100%, I think that the degree in marketing or sales or business, whatever your communications, like 10%. Like, maybe you'll learn a little bit about the analytics. I think they're teaching the wrong things in university. So I think if you're going to go and learn a marketing course, they're not teaching you about metrics. They're not teaching you about different platforms. They're not teaching you about engagement metrics. They're not teaching about how to get the most out of your marketing strategy. They're just talking to you about the history of marketing. It's like, no one gives a fuck about the history of marketing because it's history. I need to know about what's happening today. I need to know about the metrics. I need to know about the engagement. I need to know about the people I'm reaching out to, the platforms, how they differentiate, the algorithm. Teach me the things I can learn now. And a lot of individuals can just learn that by doing, especially when it comes to social media.
So let's just say a 21, 22-year-old walks up to you and is like, Austen, I need a job at your agency. I have a marketing degree, but I've never made a single sale in my entire life. So do you slap the guy?
Just knock him out, get the fuck out of here.
Or do you entertain him at all?
I always entertain the conversation, always, just because I've always grown up with take the risk, ask individuals, learn from them, just be bold in your mannerisms.
Yeah.
So I'd say then that if somebody came up to me saying, let's say they didn't do marketing, let's say they've got some sales experience, or let's say that they're young and they've got no sales experience but they're looking for a job. Firstly, I need to see if I've got an opening in my agency. If I don't need the work, I'm not going to hire for it. That's just the way that it is.
Right.
But the minute I need the work, I'll have a conversation with everybody that I think is relevant. The things that I would do for this individual, firstly, is understand them. Meaning, if you've got no experience, I'm not hiring you for your experience. I'm hiring you as a personality. Like, I need to know, are you bringing the right energy to this job? Are you open to learning? The biggest word out there. Anybody who's hiring, by the way, please start using this word. Are they trainable? Meaning, are they actually open to learning and open to being trained?
How do you find that out, though? Like, because the time you take to train them and then you realize that they're not trainable, you already wasted a bunch of time, right?
Well, no, you learn that out. So you learn that out during the probation period, right? So then you haven't got any commitments, like any harsh commitments to that individual. You can lay it out as well. I'm very transparent in the way that I work. Not everybody likes it. All right, listen, you've got 3 months. This is what we expect of you. You've got a 90-day window.
Right.
So not just 3, you've got 90 fucking days to make something happen and to show me that you want to be here and you can actually be trained on to bring results. Because I don't expect you to bring results in 90 days.
Sure.
I expect you to bring results in the next 90 days afterwards, because you've had 90 days of training. If you've taken it seriously, if you've soaked in all the information, fantastic. The next 90 days will be really easy for you and you're only going to get better. That's what I look for with somebody who's got no experience in the thing that I'm hiring. But if it's a very important job, as an example, marketing, we've gone through a couple of marketers at the moment. I need individuals who've got experience. Like, I need you to bring value into my business. I can't take the risk on you. When it comes to a sales individual, I'm happy to take the risk as long as I can see you've got the hunger, you've got the fire, you've got that drive that you actually want to start making some money. Especially when it's in commission, right? It's like, I need you to like want that bag. Like, you've got to be chasing that money. And if I can say to you, like, you could earn 10 grand a month, I want to see your eyes light up, being like, right, when are we getting started? And if you don't have that, then just don't bother talking.
No substitute for hunger, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and just don't talk to me if you haven't got it.
So do people ever show up like that? Like, Austen, please hire me.
I've not had it yet, but I expect it's going to start happening soon. I'm taking a lot more of a conscious...
Maybe after this.
Maybe after this. If you're going to start hitting up my inbox, link is... I'm joking.
$29.99.
Hey, I've got a course up for sale now.
All this to shell a course at the end, right? All this drama to
All of this is going one big circle round. Buy my course is the end of this. No, I've not had that, but I'm starting making a lot more of a conscious role in social media, engagement, trying to get individuals to... Because I really think that that's a core message nowadays. There's a lot of people that are sharing great knowledge on how to be good salespeople, and I think that's going to become more and more relevant as time goes on. I don't think there's enough individuals out there giving an authentic opinion about this is what the real world looked like when it comes to actually getting a job and when it comes to working in a job. My whole thing right now is building my business, and I'm trying to do that as transparently as I possibly can without getting myself in trouble or giving too much of the secrets away. I want youthful individuals to understand that building a business is hard, it's not impossible, but don't rush towards it. There's too much of the anti, also there's too much of the pro, being like, oh, start this and do this and like make money, it's really easy, and it's so toxic. It is honestly, it melts your brain and it melts your ambition because you think that you're behind. You're not behind, you're exactly where you need to be right now.
That's something I struggle with as well, personally, in my life.
No, I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people here struggle with that. They think that they're behind and they think that they need to start pushing on more and they need to be making bigger decisions and they need to be, you know, making bigger commitments, whether that's in their business or whether that's in their job or whether that's in their relationships. Like, I need to be doing more. And that's the whole self-improvement thing. It's like, you don't need to be doing more. You need to focus and be grateful for what you've done so far and know that you can achieve more, because everyone's like, oh, I need to do more in the next 6 months. And AI has played a part in that because it's sped everything up. Focus on what you can do in the next 10 years. Like, you can do so much in 10 years. You know, I'm 28 right now. I've had a very healthy career, but that's only through my own personal work. I started working when I was 14, 15. People need to start understanding that
it takes time.
It takes time, and impatience is a big thing.
You think people are too early to like tap out and just give up? Like, we just had the talk in the cafe with Ashish that he said it's important for you to be for 3 years at a certain job or at something to know if it's right for you or not. Do you think there's a lot of merit to that?
Yeah, just bouncing around from one thing to another isn't helpful for anybody, including themselves, right? Because you just end up getting into a habit. And I'm not saying, it's just as important to know when to throw in the towel. Like, if your business isn't going anywhere, be mature enough to say, this isn't going in the direction that I want it to, but you can't make that judgment call after a month. You can't really make that judgment call after a year. But you need to be saying, did I commit everything that I possibly could to the concept of this business that I want to make successful? Yes, I did. It didn't go to the place I wanted to, and now I have to start making some money. Then that's your cutoff point, right? You should. There's two ways to run a business, in my opinion. One is through man hours, like, so yourself, you're just grinding the fucking thing out and you're doing like 80 hours a week, or you hire individuals that know how to do it, and that's how you run a business. Either you're going to do it all hands on yourself, or the individuals you're hiring. That's it. So wanting to build a business, yes, people are too early to tap out because I think they've rushed into it too quickly. That's why the reason you're tapping out is because you're not trained to do it. You're not mentally ready. You haven't got the experience. This again goes full circle to what we've been talking about. If an individual has no experience in the industry they're trying to get into, of course they're going to tap out after a month because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know? And people get bogged down by finances, HR, this, that, and the other. You just need to make a sale. That's when it starts, and then you can build from there. I don't know about giving something 3 years. Depends on the industry that you're in, of course, but you should be driving and be committed, you know? And this is my golden piece of advice for a lot of people out there. If you've got a 9-to-5 job, right, and you've been half-arsing it, right, so you've only been putting in the minimum amount of effort that you need to do, my advice to you is go in from next week and commit to yourself for the next 90 days, you're going to do everything and more in that job and see how your job improves. All of a sudden you start enjoying what you're doing, you're connecting with new people, you're taking on more responsibility, they're offering you a pay rise. Showing that determination and that drive, because the only individual that can take charge of your life is you. No one's just going to say, hey, FYI, like, here's that promotion just because you've been around for a long time. No. You need to actually show the willingness to take on more work. If you do a 9-to-5, start doing 8 to 6. Just for 90 days. That's all you're asking, 90 days, and see how much your life changes. That's so fucking fundamental nowadays that people are like, oh, I've done my 9-to-5, I've done my bit. Yeah. It's like, what about doing just do some more? You know, the successful people of this world have always pushed a bit more. They've always pushed beyond the boundary. The athletes have always said, cool, we're going to do 7 hours instead of 6 hours of training. Just give me 1 more hour. I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier. I'm not saying burn and kill yourself. I'm saying commit to the thing that you want and be willing to drive at full
the
force
extra mile.
Just go the extra mile and show your own passion, right? Because if you're not even passionate for the industry that you're working in, why the fuck are you all of a sudden going to become? And again, it goes back to the point. They've given you the tools. They give you a salary. They give you the training. They give you the support. They've given you everything, and you still fucking hate your job. What makes you think you're going to be any good at it just because it's your own? That's it.
That's true. You know, what's something really funny? If someone's watching this right now, and if they are an optimist, they would try to derive value from everything that you just said. But if someone is a really complacent, lazy, pessimist guy, which used to be me, by the way, once upon a time, they would say, oh, at this certain point in the show, Austen said that there are some secrets that I'm not going to tell you about. So maybe Austen knows something which other people don't know, and that's why he's successful. So they're all going to put it on that maybe there are some gate-kept secrets. There's a lot of conspiracies and a lot of effort to replace real hard work.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think we can just network our way into success?
What do you think of that? Do you think it's the case that people are do you think people are holding back secrets for when they're sharing stuff?
I think people are not holding back secrets as such. It's just that a lot of knowledge cannot be learned just by reading about it. It's just that there's one thing to know about something and there's another thing to live through it.
Yeah.
So that kind of knowledge when it goes through your body, when you actually experience things, from the outside it looks like it's being gate kept. But from within, it's actually not gatekeeping at all.
Yeah.
I don't think you can tell someone to do something a certain way and then magic would happen.
Well, here's something that I think could happen, right? The concept of a mentor doesn't really exist as much anymore. Which I personally have tried to look for a mentor. I'm only 28, right? You got about I'm not a 30, 48-year-old. I'm 28. I'm still very young in what I'm trying to achieve.
Just 2 years before your midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still, it's going to come around, man. It's going to come around. I'm going to end up buying that fucking pink Porsche. That's what's going to happen. But it's a mentor, right? So if I said to somebody watching now, right, you can come in and join me for a month and you're going to get exposure to everything, they'd dip out after 2 weeks. It's like, I don't feel like I'm learning enough or I'm not learning quick enough. It's like, that's why you think there are secrets. It's because you're not committed to learning more. That's what I'm saying. If you go into office at 8 and finish at 6, you will learn more. You'll be exposed to more. Elon Musk said it best. The average working week is 40 hours. If you do 80, you're already doing twice as much and learning twice as much as the other individuals. Try it. Generally, just try it and see what the fuck happens, because then you'll start uncovering your own secrets about your own industry, your own abilities. I've not got any secrets. Generally, I'm a very open book when it comes to what it takes to be successful. I've worked very hard for my work, but it's down to blind work, meaning if you smash your head against a wall continuously, at some point the wall will crack, fine. But you don't need to smash your head against the wall, go and get a fucking hammer. Working hard, working smart, that's one thing, which also really pisses me off. People say, work smarter, don't work harder. That's horse shit. Working hard is working hard, whether you're doing it smart or just like brute force. People need to start brute forcing their way into being successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So last but not the least, before we put an end to this,
Yeah.
are there some of like really funny instances that you recall during your journey in sales or closing deals, or something really bizarre, like which is like people should not hear about this, but it's like an exclusive for this show? A story which would not make it to the light of the day.
And from a sales perspective, I don't have any crazy stories from a sales perspective.
Anything in business in general, or in your agency, or while you were starting out, or in a previous job, anything.
Anything from a previous job. Well, apart from the fact of getting fired on the Christmas party, man.
That was like a Steve Jobs moment, right?
Yeah, everyone
You just came back.
It was so strange, bro. Got fired on the eve of the Christmas party. I must have really fucked up then. Something a little bit strange in my industry with clients. Yeah, I'll tell you one story. So we run events, right, in our organization. This didn't happen with me direct, I was there, but it wasn't my company, let's just say that.
Right.
And somebody turned up who wasn't meant to be at the event, and I was the individual there representing the organization, and I was like, unfortunately, we haven't got a place for you. We had tried to communicate that your seat is no longer reserved for X, Y, and Z reason, and they went fucking mental. In the middle of this like Michelin star restaurant, they started shouting. The client was only like 3 tables down. This individual started shouting, demanding that demanding food. All of a sudden she just like, I should be eating here. I want a full course meal. I want a free bottle of wine. I want this, and like shouting her head off to the point that everybody, apart from the client, started looking in our direction. I'm like, oh fucking, what am I gonna do?
How did you hold your composure?
It's really easy in a situation like that to be like, I'm so sorry, it's fine, like come on in. But you have to like, I'm not representing myself, I'm representing my client. Like the client has said, they don't want you here. I didn't say that to them. This is like me. I said like, the client doesn't want them there. They can't be here because it looks bad on me, just letting them in. So I communicated and listen, we're extremely sorry and we apologize that there's been clearly a lack of communication. As you can see here in our emails, we have said to you 2 weeks ago that this event is no longer reserved for you because of X, Y, and Z reason. What I can do is because they bought a taxi to come over to the venue, let me pay for your taxi home and go from there. And then she was still really upset and she demanded compensation. But luckily she said, fine, I'm gonna get in the taxi, and we ended the conversation there. So that was one instance. I'm sure there'd be others. If you had asked me this, like, I could have come prepared with some better stories, but yeah, that's one that, that's one that comes to mind. And you know, those things happen like regularly. I've had individuals on multiple occasions telling me to go fuck myself. I've had the most crazy insults when I was a recruiter, because we end up cold calling everybody, and people are like, I don't want anything to do with you. You're the worst human ever. And I've had that, and I've had people show up at the offices before, being like, where the fuck's Austen? I want to see him. Because I was calling them too much or whatever. But again, that was a bit of a brute force moment. It was a big learning curve. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stories, and I'm sure individuals out there who are working have got their own as well. But it's just taking it in its stride and being like, cool, that's happened, and that's it, man.
It's pretty cool, man. It's been a journey, right?
Yeah, man.
It's been a journey. So to wrap things up, I just want to say thank you first of all for doing this, taking out the time. It's been a blast. I don't even know how long we've been doing this.
I think we've been doing this for like an hour, man, like an hour and a smidge. You guys have got so much content now.
It has to be more. It's 5:20 now. So, and I think the more you talk to Austen, the more you learn about sales, and you are at the helm of a really important revolution from AI slog to where the real money is actually made. So I feel you are ahead of the curve in a way, and this is the right place to be at. And it's an honor for me to have this chat with you as well. And hopefully, maybe I can get my hands dirty by being more like at the forefront of business by doing sales myself, because I've been behind screens for my whole life as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be there in the arena, and hopefully we'll see each other there.
Absolutely, man. Listen, getting into sales is something that everybody should do, even whether it's like at the start of their career or towards the end. But getting into sales is something that everyone should do, simply because it's a fast track to learning about business, and it's a fast track to learning about people. It's not AI isn't the one buying a new product or service, it's the human buying it. So it's the human that needs to understand the needs of other humans. AI is not going to be able to do that. AI can just help hone in the service or product to make it better for the human that's going to interact with it. So yeah, getting into sales is only going to sort of speed up your success. And again, it just adds a new tool into your toolkit, right? So like you've got the software engineering, you've got the trading background, you've got this, that, and the other. Now if you get the sales background as well, merge all of that together,
right.
At least you have a baseline understanding.
And how do I know what Austen has been saying this whole time is actually correct? Not just because he has a proper track record to prove it, but because my dad has been in sales for like 25, 30 years now. And a lot of what you talk about, I've heard his version as well. And it completely lines up.
Yeah, no, exactly. And sales is exactly that. A lot of individuals are saying similar things because it's true. When someone is saying something consistent, you're hearing a similar message somewhere else, it's because it's true. It's not because they're trying to put on a new spin or they're trying to take information from somebody else. I've never met your dad, so there's no way we'd be saying the same stuff. Like, I haven't taken it from him, but it's simply the case of...
It's what the industry teaches you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's what the industry teaches you, and the individuals out there, if you're not sure what to get into, right, in terms of your like work life, or if you're trying to figure out your career, go into sales. Go into sales, whether that's door-to-door sales, whether that's software engineering sales, whether that's tech sales, it doesn't matter. Get into sales and you'll learn so much, and you can also earn commission, which again, you're in control of your own paycheck, which is a great feeling.
And no matter what you do in your life, it's not real until it shows up in your bank account.
Exactly. That's something to hold on to, man.
All right. Thank you
Appreciate
so much,
taking
brother.
the time, man. Thank you.
See you. Thank you. Hope it's recording.
Oh yeah, imagine if it wasn't, bro. That would be crazy.